Okay, there we go. Okay, hello everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I've really enjoyed the session so far. We've absolutely covered a wide range of topics, and now I'm going to bring the conversation to data protection, um, which is really important. So I want you to bear with me, and as I bring you along this journey, and hope make a case for why data protection is a trend for 2021. So I work with a company called Rewind. I'm a product manager, and Rewind specializes in backups. We do backups for Shopify and BigCommerce and a few other cloud applications. So why is data protection a trend for 2021? So there's a lot going on. We've already, as a group, acknowledged this and established this huge momentum, huge surge in people buying online, surge in investments in selling online for both existing merchants or maybe wholesale merchants that are kind of ramping up their online sales. Agencies are busy, app providers are busy. There's just a lot of exciting energy. It's a good time to be in e-commerce. But with this elevated energy and elevated focus, the risk has also come up. What I have learned in working with Rewind for the last 2 years is that stuff goes wrong all the time. Data is lost all the time, and it is painful. And with just more happening and this busyness and this excitement, we're seeing data loss happening more frequently. So what can go wrong on stores? A lot of the stuff that happens, a lot of the things that go wrong are at the hands of humans. We're very imperfect, no matter if we're veteran Shopify developers or we're kind of starting out. Stuff goes wrong all the time, and it's often a mistake. It can be like right in your Shopify control panel, accidentally deleting a category or a collection, a set of products. It's often a simple mistake that can happen in the blink of an eye that can lead to hours of really gut-wrenching recovery, an hour-long gut-wrenching recovery period. Theme code edits is an area we see things go wrong fairly frequently. We work with Crossrope, and Crossrope was doing a pretty standard update to their theme, but this standard update had some unanticipated consequences. The result was that nobody could add products to their cart. That's a big showstopper. And it wasn't clear how to quickly resolve this issue. We actually didn't work with Crossrope at this point. What they had to do is go to a manually backed up version of their theme code and restore to how their theme appeared 1 month ago. And that was pretty good because they could start to get products in carts again. Not totally optimal though, because a lot of work had gone into that theme in the month since they had done a backup. Another way that things go wrong on I'm going to say on both BigCommerce and Shopify is app integrations. Apps are great. We're an app. The app ecosystem is a powerful network, and you can plug a lot of holes and have a lot of excellent solutions. But it's also important to acknowledge that anytime you're connecting with a third-party app, you're opening the door to your store, and things can go wrong there. It's really important to vet those apps intensely. I was speaking to a merchant this week, a store called It's Juliet, and they're in retail, and they're just started in November and already becoming a Shopify Plus merchant. Really interesting success they're having. But they were getting ramped up. They have a big product catalog. They integrated with an app that to improve their SEO practices, compress images, and modify alt tags. And they lost all their product images. Twice, actually. So there's an example, and I don't love sharing horror stories, but I do think it's important to share these instances of people hitting major setbacks. Another thing that can go wrong, this is hackers and malware. Sometimes this can be extreme and mysterious. Sometimes it can be a a disgruntled employee, or someone you have given access to your store coming back. They've had a bad experience, who knows, but they have a malicious intent and want to see the store come upon hard times. And we've helped people who have faced instances like this. We had a customer come into Rewind having lost their entire product catalog, 3,000 products gone, and it was maliciously deleted by someone who they had given access to. Luckily, we were able to put it back for them. Last one, what can go wrong? CSV imports. Love them and hate them. They're obviously a powerful way to do bulk updates to the store. They're also a powerful way to do bulk mistakes to your store. We had a merchant we work with, Whisker Seeker. They do catfishing. They manufacture catfishing equipment. They sell on Ecommerce. And days before, like 3 days before Black Friday, had a CSV import gone wrong. Again, the issue came down to product images. And I remember talking to the owner of this store on the phone as he recounted this issue for me, describing the whole team, bringing the whole team in, working around the clock, actually taking pictures of the products again. And obviously they weren't going to go another day without a backup after that. So things go wrong. And sometimes it's at the hands of merchants. Sometimes it's at the hands of agencies. Nobody's perfect. And the name of the game is to be able to move forward quickly. What's at stake? I think I can cruise through this because I'm sure this audience knows that there's a lot at stake, right? If the products aren't there, if product images aren't there, if they aren't being sorted into the correct collections, if you can't put stuff into the cart, like you're not making money, you're really just tearing down all the hard work you've done to establish trust and earn the repeat buyers and create a good reputation for your operation. So a lot is at stake, not to mention all the money and the time that we put into making these excellent e-commerce stores. And then lastly, I'll mention the relationship between an agency and the merchant is at stake when there is data loss. It's a high anxiety moment. There is a lot of fear. There's often anger. It's completely and utterly unpleasant. And no matter how the mistake happened, it's a difficult moment to work through in a partnership. Okay, so who is responsible? So I hope that now you're kind of along with me in understanding that things go wrong, unfortunately, day to day on e-commerce stores. So that begs the question, whose job is it to make sure that things don't go wrong? And one of the funny things about working at Rewind, a backup company, is again and again and again, we're asked by, or we're meeting folks who are saying, what, doesn't Shopify back up our store? What, doesn't BigCommerce? And this actually goes on to other cloud applications. What, doesn't QuickBooks Online back up my cloud accounting? The answer is yes and no. It's not black and white. So it comes down to this idea of the shared responsibility model. The platforms we use that we trust, we put our data in them and we do things with them, they are responsible to make sure that service is always functional, always operating at 100%. And these excellent services we use, like BigCommerce and Shopify, do an excellent job at that. They do have huge security teams whose job it is to make sure that that's always working for us, and that if anything ever happened, they have a backup in place and they would be able to get us back to selling online quickly. But where their responsibility ends is when it comes to the actual store's data. Everything that you put into the store, all the products, all the theme code, all the pages, collections, all the stuff we work on getting just right, that is our data. We're just putting it there. And it's our job to protect that. And actually, when it comes to like types of data loss, when we look at the scale of likely to happen versus unlikely to happen, it's the stuff to our data, our product catalog, our theme code that is most at risk. So it's really important to protect that. So what can agencies do? First and foremost, I think agencies are so trusted. They're kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel, and for a merchant who is on a journey and doesn't know exactly where it's leading. There's so much trust in this relationship. So being an advisor and being able to educate on security and the data protection that they have guaranteed from the platform and what they need to do on their own is an excellent role for the agency to play. Here's some other tips though. It's not all just about backups. There's lots that we can do to protect our data. So here's a few. First one, password management. I use a password management app. We do at Rewind. We use 1Pass. Total convert on this. Like it's so nice when a solution is better and more convenient, and I think that's what password management apps give. You can say goodbye to weak passwords. You can say goodbye to like kind of sketchy password sharing practices, and it just takes care of all of it and is an excellent way to protect. You like protect your agency that way. Merchants protect their business that way. Apps protect their business that way. Go in here. Yeah, I see someone saying LastPass. That's another one that we do recommend. We're big fans of both 1Pass and LastPass here at Rewind. The next is enable two-factor authentication. It's there. Those features exist, provided to us by Shopify and BigCommerce. I think BigCommerce is enabled by default. Shopify, you have to take the step to enable it. Absolutely enable two-factor authentication. It all comes down to, it's just not worth risking it. Take the extra step if something, if a compromise comes to your doorstep, you will be happy you did. The next is adapt the principle of least privilege. This is a well-known principle in cloud security. Basically, it's to say if a team member or a third party doesn't need access, they shouldn't have access. Keep access on everything, all the systems you use, as controlled and as small as possible. Sometimes that means granting access for a period of time and then revoking it. It means reviewing access frequently, but that's kind of how you can work through those decisions. Only if someone needs access should they have it. Manage app access. I gave the example of what happened to It's Juliet, who kind of opened the doors to their store to this SEO optimization app, and it was brutal. And they lost all their product images, not once but twice. And like it did come clear that that it was their integration with this app that caused it, but there was nothing that could be done in this situation. So just know, like, you're opening the door, and really pay attention to what you're authorizing that app to do. And then lastly is backup options. So we here at Rewind, we encourage people to have a backup in place. There's a few different ways to get there. You can manually back up client stores, or encourage the client to do it themselves. You can. I talked about Crossrope and their issue with their theme code, and their backup that they took a month ago really did help them. So there is stuff you can do on your own to just keep copies of your data that you can go back to. The best type of backup is more frequent, though, than once a month. So if you want to get to something more frequent, you might start to think about building your own backup solution. It's a great project. It will be a difficult project, but it's if you're looking for something very specific to your client's needs, that might be the route to go. And lastly, I'm unapologetically biased towards this one, is to uninstall a backup app. And the simple reason why I encourage people to go with a backup app is it is a set it and forget it type of application. It runs automatically in real time, catching every single change that happens. But the most important part is that we can put it back quickly. Having a backup is great. That's the first step, but being able to restore from that backup, get all that data back into your store, and kind of integrated properly with the data that was uncorrupted, that's the painful part. So a backup app can typically do that really easily. Okay, that's it for me. So I hope that like with all this excitement around e-commerce, with the busyness, I hope you think about data protection too. Rachel joked that it's not the sexiest thing, and it's true, it isn't. But my gosh, you'll be happy you thought about it if anything goes wrong.